When we talk, or read, or write, we understand language not one word at a time, but we understand words in groups or chunks, words that go together and make one meaning. If you can read in chunks, it will help you understand and read faster as well. I'm going to read the first part of the story, The Chrysanthemums by John Steinbeck, aloud in chunks. Follow along and possibly mark your own paper while you listen. The high gray flannel fog of winter closed off the Salinas Valley from the sky and from all the rest of the world. On every side it sat like a lid on the mountains and made of the great valley a closed pot. On the broad, level land floor, the gang plows bit deep and left the black earth shining like metal where the shares had cut. On the foothill ranches across the Salinas River, the yellow stubble fields seemed to be bathed in pale, cold sunshine. But there was no sunshine in the valley, now in December. The thick willow scrub along the river flamed with sharp and positive yellow leaves. It was a time of quiet and of waiting. The air was cold and tender. A light wind blew up from the southwest, so that the farmers were mildly hopeful of a good rain before long. But fog and rain did not go together. Across the river, on Henry Allen's foothill ranch, there was little work to be done, for the hay was cut and stored, and the orchards were plowed up to receive the rain deeply when it should come. The cattle on the higher slopes were becoming shaggy and rough-coated. Elisa Allen, working in her flower garden, looked down across the yard and saw Henry, her husband, talking to two men in business suits. The three of them stood by the tractor shed, each man with one foot on the side of the little Fordson. They smoked cigarettes and studied the machine as they talked. Elisa watched them for a moment and then went back to her work. She was 35. Her face was lean and strong, and her eyes were as clear as water. Her figure looked blocked and heavy in her gardening costume. A man's black hat pulled low down over her eyes, clodhopper shoes, a figured print dress almost completely covered by a big corduroy apron with 4 big pockets to hold the snips, the trowel and scratcher, the seeds, and the knife she worked with. She wore heavy leather gloves to protect her hands while she worked. She was cutting down the old year's chrysanthemum stalks with a pair of short and powerful scissors. She looked down toward the men by the tractor shed now and then. Her face was eager and mature and handsome. Even her work with the scissors was over-eager, over-powerful. The chrysanthemum stems seemed too small and easy for her energy.